Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup number 2. We're not done with the group stage. I lied. Haha, I fooled you all. Gonna be continuing actually with Group D. There was one that we missed between Shrike and Procyon. Again, Shrike stealing my freaking colors. I actually feel like I cast this one, so let me just make sure, because I may have double cast before recently. Maybe. I'm not gonna... not gonna pretend like that's not happened. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like we've done this one before. So, in we go then, eh? Gonna be Shrike playing as the random, actually. We haven't got... Oh. You... So desperate for attention, man. We haven't got the, we haven't got the info.txt for this one, unfortunately, but that'll do. Shrike is going to be playing as random. This would have been his pick first, because he's, of course, going to be higher seed. Procyon choosing to play as random, and then we have Boneyard as the first map pick. Boneyard just kind of a good map in general, although I tend to kind of try to avoid it because I feel like the other players know it a little bit better than me. We have pretty early LAV fab coming out here from Shrike. He is going to go 8 up though, it looks like. Now, I hope he's not going to do the thing. Because I've said this many times before about Shrike. What I really enjoy about watching his play is that I know that he's actually like... Oh no, he's not going to do the thing. I'm happy about it. He's like bordering on that top tier, you know what I mean? It won't be long, I feel, if he continues to improve to where he'll be able to really challenge like even the kind of the highest tier of DOK play, you know what I mean? And so it's really fun to watch his play when he's on it. But he often does like things that I feel like he just shouldn't do, you know what I mean? Because they won't work against the highest level, and I want him to kind of I want him to improve, you know what I mean? And one of them is to go LAV fab first and then get a support cruiser anyway, which just kind of doesn't get you anything. But he's not doing it, which is very happy for me. Pro gonna get a little chewed up there, but he does make... Oh, actually quite chewed up, but he does make it out. That's all it takes. Gets the information though. He saw the production cruiser coming out with the sand skimmers, so he knows about this. AV fab is finishing like right now, so that's not a problem at all. So yeah, all is well in Shrikey land. So Maze over here. Wait a minute. But yeah, he's not going to be able to get really much damage done here as Procyon. I mean, maybe if Shrike like messes up, he could, you know, lose like a long distance salvager, but the ball's kind of in Procyon's court to, or how do I say this? It's like, this is Shrike's hold to fail, you know what I mean? I don't know, hopefully it's making sense what I'm trying to get out here. Carrier production upgrade is coming out too. We don't see any more AVs though. I kind of feel like I wouldn't do this if I were him. I would just produce more of them and try to do like some one base aggression here, but we'll see what the plan is. He does, like, he knew that that production cruiser was out. So the idea here might be, well, my opponent's not playing eco, so why should I? But that's not necessarily true. Like, this production cruiser could actually be home already. He wouldn't have information on it, so... And actually, he is going to get caught out on his long distance here, so I feel like maybe he will lose a salvager there. The probe, being very inactive, doesn't get that scouting information, so... Salvager didn't run toward the AV, so it is going to go down. Oh, Shrike. Shrike, my boy. I expect better of you. Actually, going to lose a second too, maybe? Yeah, he will lose a second here. Yeah, the smoke is a little bit off there, so... Doesn't actually kill any of the sand skimmers either, I don't think. Yeah, he didn't, so... What a choke, dude. Obviously not going to be the best opener there for Shrike. He also can't really be the aggressor at this point, because now he's kind of like staying back trying to defend. And we know the mistake that like Maze made against Procyon, and a couple other people too, I think, was that, you know, he starts taking damage, they just have like, oh, I have a couple AVs, I'm fine. They move out across the map and it's not enough. LAV is going to be the choice here actually for Shrike. That's interesting, but that could work, because they're going to actually have higher DPS, I think, against these sand skimmers. Am I thought I was hearing a fire alarm. No, that's that's not it. So that's not the thing. Sand skimmers here finding a really good angle on these LAVs. I don't know what the AVs were doing. They just kind of like parted like the Red Sea, just like, come on in, guys. And LDM salvager is not being pulled back, so they're gonna be in trouble. But to be fair, this carrier can't really do too much to defend anyway. And there we have some more AVs coming out. So I think the LAVs would have been fine if he had kept them with like the pack. But again, also the AVs being separated from each other, that's not good either. This one's getting high ground, which is nice, but it is going to go down for the price of like one sand splinter, so... Shrike, my boy! What is occurring? What the? Okay, I mean, I knew one-base battlecruiser rushes were a thing from, like, Cascara, but that's not usually how you do it. Oh man, that's crazy. Wow. Alright, well, I'm always a fan of kind of unorthodox strategies, but we do already have heavy rails, not on the field, but they could be. The tech is finished, so... Interesting. Intéressant. I don't know, A-Game, you tell me if you're still watching, like, what's the build if you're going to do the battlecruiser rush? Because I know Cascara, like, managed to kind of wreck me in that in a couple testing games, and I was like, wow, that's new. Probe goes down, by the way. But I'm not sure exactly how it's done. I know it's like one base though, and you do a sport cruiser like this because you want to do the party bus, right, with the carrier. But I feel like this is not the opening to make it work. But maybe it is. I don't know. I'm sure he's furiously typing away over there. Oh yeah, there we go. Well, that's true because they're Saban, right? So they have the longer range, but they don't have the damage. I mean, well, they have damage obviously, but he doesn't remember. What a pleb. No. That's fine. I can watch maybe some of the replays from Cascara when he did that if I have any of them saved. Well, it doesn't look like it's a rush, does it? Because he's actually headed over here. So he's just going to use the battlecruisers as like just a core unit, which is a little wonky, but it could work. He's in range to kill this heavy rail. I'll just do that for sure. Yeah, he's going to find it. That's fine for him. Wants to smoke the carrier. He's kind of doing that. The attempt is there. You can see what he's going for here, but he's not going to get this production cruiser though, so... I don't know. I feel like maybe he shouldn't have chased so far in. Because this guy's definitely dead now, right? Down he goes. It's just so weird to see Sandskimmers countering AAVs like that, you know what I mean? But it'll happen if you have this many of them, and he's got damage 1 as well. Bit of eco-suicide being done here actually by Procyon, so now that I look at it, this is totally worth it from Shrike, because that's like a lot of mining time lost there actually. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I guess we'll need to see someone try it at like the top level again, because I do remember that they were even easier to tech to now than they were back in like the early testing days. I just remember like the first time he did it, I did not expect it at all, you know what I mean? Although, come to think of it, back like closer to launch, we used to see Cascara do a lot of battlecruiser stuff too, didn't we? I remember there were some classic games where he would just like make 3 of them on Torn Crater, let's say, or Kalash Teeth or something, and they would come down in like each of the openings kind of to your base, and it was like, well, you lose, you know what I mean? Like if you didn't have something to stop them before they got there was nothing you could do. So if he got field control, he would just kind of win. And that was in vanilla too. We don't really see battlecruisers in vanilla at all, do we? Unless something kind of weird is going on. We've got one on the queue now, by the way, for Shrike. Yeah, I mean, maybe not. Like, of course, it's a new vanilla, isn't it? Because we've really been playing for a long time. But I do remember that happening in, like, the earlier Artifact Cups. So... Well, I guess that was probably 1.2, wasn't it? I don't know, did battlecruisers get changed between 1.2 and 1.3? History lessons here now. This isn't even casting anymore. BC gonna finish, by the way. And the thing about battlecruisers that I've kind of thought of is that they, I think their value really goes up the later on in the game you go, because if you can have support cruisers with them, you're really at a big advantage, right? Because they have a really high hit point pool, so if you can like let them take damage, then get healed up and stuff like that, you know, you're golden, right? But if it's in the early game like this, we're still not even 10 minutes in, then you want that support cruiser over there instead. He might take it with the battlecruisers, but we'll see. Anyway, about this comment, yeah, but I mean, like I said, it was an earlier time, the meta wasn't as developed back then. And I'm also not sure, like I said, if they were maybe changed or not. Little foray of AV is going to get denied there. I think what Shrike needs to realize here is that this is like a lot of Sandskimmers. I mean, honestly, I think Assault Cruiser Fab is probably good here, but gunships would be incredible. But otherwise, just like a lot of AVs, and Armor 3 is kind of like a must-have at this position, I think. And that's a lot of RUs he's just put into fighter and gunship, actually. I mean, like, for instance, he's got his main held by, like, 1 AV here and an ALM, I guess, right? But that's not going to be sufficient at all. Like, if these guys want to, they're just... Oh, and I think they will. Looks kind of like the direction they're pointing in, huh? Yes, it definitely is. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really bad, you know what I mean? Like, when you get a big pack of Sandskimmers like this with damage on them, you can't just use 1 AAV to counter it. They're going to kind of pull away, though, but they should just go in there. That's... I mean, that's a dead support cruiser right there. BC gonna reveal itself pretty early here, actually, as it starts hitting on that base runner. But here come the Sand Skimmers. ALM just gets melted. They can melt the AAV if they want to. Of course, he's out there doing his damage. He's gonna kill one of them, but like, it's not gonna be enough. He is getting healed, which is nice. Actually, wow, that guy's like a freaking hero. No, don't leave, you fool! Look, the smoke is clear, right? He doesn't have any more smoke, so you can kill this thing like easy, easy. And Shrike probably gonna be like, oh boy, because I figure he knows what's going on there. Also fleet capped because he lost at ALM, but that's not a huge deal. He's got quite a few CUs, so. Ooh. Yeah, no, I mean, the other thing is that Shrike doesn't have any LAVs on the field or anything, and Procyon scouting is reasonably good. Level 2 armor is just crazy. Yeah, well, what's the breakpoint here? We have 15 damage normally, right? 50. Oh, yeah, that is pretty crazy. But he's at 17. He could get damage too as well. I'd probably get armor 3 if I were Shrike, because I feel like these AVs are still not going to cut it on their own. Although this guy's going to do decently well. Is he? Yeah, maybe not. This battlecruiser is going to do pretty well, though. What I was going to say is that Procyon scouting on the field is pretty decent at this point, right? Like, he knows where... Oh, nice smoke. He knows where Shrike's army is and what it is, too. So he knows that there's no LAVs out there. So the railguns counter everything that's here, actually. So these Sandskimmers can do whatever they want. So they could have stuck around there. They could probably have killed that Sport Cruiser if they wanted to. Battlecruiser just going to try to kill the carrier on his own. I don't think he makes that, does he? Probably not. Yeah, no, that's a dead DC. That's kind of a weird choice, isn't it? Probably wants to smoke it and try to get it. Oh, dear. Yeah, because, I mean, this damage is not at all permanent, you know what I mean? Okay, battlecruisers are good, right? But this one was already damaged from the railguns. It's not going to cut it on its own. Although, power 2 could be put into the weapons here. That would be nice for Procyon. That'll kill the thing off just a little bit faster. But the railguns will handle it. Which gives this guy tons of veterancy. Holy moly. Not like it really matters at all. We know veterancy in DOK, not really the most impactful thing, but hey, you know, every little bit counts. Actually, the 100 meters to weapon range is pretty potentially big, although we don't usually see railguns work at max range at all, do we? A lot of strike fighters in the queue here, though. A lot of them in the hangar already. I don't know, it's kind of a weird battlecruiser usage. Oh, an honor guard, what the? I didn't see that coming. Yeah, no, it's just kind of a weird battlecruiser usage, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm gonna build one and then drive it up here and then no more, you know? Like, it's such an expensive tech. I feel like if you're gonna get it this early on in the game, you have to make it kind of, like, defining of your playstyle for that match, or else it's not ever gonna really pay off for itself. Honor Guard is out, so Procyon actually has the interesting choice of deciding whether or not he wants to go for Honor Guard Cruiser anti-air, but it looks like he's not going to. And against this number of strike fighters, I kind of have to agree. I feel like the chances that you're going to see bombers after you have such a big investment into air is fairly high. And this number of strike fighters can punish Honor Guard Cruiser anti-air anyway, so this is probably safe. But again, here we have these Sand Skimmers just like doing surprisingly well against AVs here. Still no damage too from him, but maybe not. Maybe I'm lying. If a railgun slug can actually hit here, which is kind of surprising that What? Who is piloting this railgun? Okay, there we go. Now his armor's down to 12, so now he's gonna get killed like really fast by these Sand Skimmers, but I guess you're right, A-game. Armor 2 is kind of crazy. Wow. I did not realize that. Assault Cruiser 5 comes out. Good, that's actually really good because this is a nice counter to the Sand Skimmers that's not dependent on you being able to sit there and trade with him for a long time. Because I still think there's like a vulnerability down here and stuff, you know, if the Sand Skimmers just kind of choose to run in there and do whatever they want. Yeah, that tells a different story, doesn't it? Oh boy. I should always check the units lost tab. That's what the Scar is always saying. Magic tricks. Well, that's why, isn't it? Because their base damage is 15 and these guys get 15 armor when they're at armor 2. So that is a pretty important breakpoint, I guess. Missile ships entering the field. This should serve to wrest a little bit of field control back from Procyon, but he's kind of overbuilding. He's making a second one already. Oh, what the? You know what I've just noticed? He's only got one production cruiser, actually. That's really hurting him. What's his resources like? Yeah, I mean, if you have that much of a float, and you're not already on like 3 base economy, you probably ought to just make another production cruiser. Because clearly you're not spending like all of what you have, you know what I mean? And yeah, with like what I was saying is that the AAVs can't like force the Sandscreamers to die and back away, so they can't really defend here, but they can attack, right? And if there's no rails in this position, they're gonna do a pretty good job of it because, well, you know, like the Sandscreamers can't kill them very quickly, but they can't kill the Sandscreamers very quickly. But that doesn't matter. The Sandscreamers, in other words, can't defend. In other words, despite this being technically a counter unit to that, neither of them defends very well in small numbers. Does that make sense? Against like big numbers of the enemy? I don't know. Maybe you can get what I'm saying. AVs are good against Sandscreamers, just not in this kind of context, really. Well, in this kind of context they are, not in this kind of context. Is it making any sense what I'm talking about? I should just stop. We do have assault cruisers on the queue. Actually, double assault cruiser fab coming out from your boy Shrike. We have another honor guard cruiser coming out, by the way, but the missile ships are all dead because there were no railguns to defend them. So if it pops out now, I mean, Shrike might just be like, it's free real estate, just kind of kill it. Do not die, Adam. He's good. Adam's good. Adam's good, and he is a freaking commander. Just a bit more veterancy, and they're gonna have him literally piloting the Capisi. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Honor Guard is out though, so this guy, Lucas, he's also a freaking legend. He's a command. They should just rename like Captain to Legend, because you never get units up to that veterancy. You know what we never see in DOK though is units with like really high veterans, like an army with a lot of it, because it's very tradey. You know what I mean? Like you trade back and forth. That armor value makes no sense. How do you mean? Ouch. What, that it's 16? Because it's from the veterancy, you know? What the? No, it's not. What? What? Oh. I thought Armor 2 gave him 15. Okay. Oh, hello, Pie of Reckoning. Whoa! LAV spam. Wow. Alright. Wait a minute, these aren't assault cruisers. What the? Weren't there assault cruisers on the queue? What happened to them? Oh! So his armor should be 12 right now, but it's 16? That's hilarious. So apparently AAVs have just been way better than this is supposed to be. By the way, this guy was named after an instrument, so that's interesting. He was promoted to Lieutenant Commander right before he died. That's kind of like, I don't know if you know this story, but I think it was Stalingrad or something, but in World War II, they were like, the city was like surrounded, and they were probably gonna have to capitulate. And by the way, this carrier I think is dead, so that's game over. I know that was pretty anticlimactic the way that I mentioned the game has ended here, but yeah. Anyway, they're like they have to capitulate because the Russians have like completely surrounded them, and then Hitler's like, "You, sir, are now marshal," and what he means basically is like you're not allowed to surrender because no marshals have ever surrendered in German history. So the guy was like, "Well, I'm dead." And I think he actually did die, like they didn't surrender, so yeah, that's weird. I was noticing that too, like because railguns have almost perfect accuracy against a carrier, don't they? That guy just missed entirely. Okay, dude, who's piloting this? What a freaking pleb, dude. How could you miss? You were 3 feet in front of him. He did it again. To be fair, the guy's floating, and the turret probably doesn't have a lot of traverse, and this guy is a captain. What a freaking legend. He can actually probably survive, like, noticeably more missiles because he's captain if any. There's actually anti-air in the field, isn't it? I love how Shrike, like, retargets on the production cruiser. It's like... I mean, once you kill the carrier, it's over, but... Well, yeah, now that's the next target, you know. Anyway, he's gonna take that one pretty easily. But, yeah, I know, it was a little weird the way he used the battlecruiser. Like, that would not have worked in a proper game, you know what I mean? Who got the veterancy for killing the carrier, by the way? It's probably this guy. Also, Adam. Okay, we got something going on here, boys. Something's not right. Etwas fehlt noch. Oh, yeah, that tells the whole story right there, doesn't it? Just, you know, just a huge number of CUs collected by Shrike there. I mean, if it felt like he could always just kind of do whatever he wanted, it's because it's really true. His opponent didn't get refinery mode till like 15 minutes in or something. And then he was only on 1 PC the whole time. Only on 2 base, so... Not really too surprising right there. Let's move on to game 2, shall we? which is going to be Torin Crater. So, Procyon picking Gaussian again, we have Shrike as random again, but Procyon picking map this time. Gonna pick Torin Crater. Actually, I'm not too sure how I feel about that, because this is kind of a prolific, like, early game rush map, you know what I mean? And when your opponent is random, you don't even know what faction he is. Defending from the rush becomes even harder. And so... Oh, so they don't do that for Coalition? Well, I think I saw from the replay tooltip he's gonna roll Coalition this time, so maybe we can check, huh? Just like Soban AAVs are randomly like twice as good or something. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. Hey, that's why we cast, eh? Turns out it was a good thing that I went over this game. It's a feature. You're right. I mean, they're Soban. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be like. Totally, totally. No, you know that happens when you. Whoop! He's just having fun now. Shrike, what are you doing? What is this? Oh man. Is he spelling something? Hold up, because that looks like a D and then an A. Hold up, what? That could be an M. No, I think he's just. No, I think he's just being funny. I don't know why I find that so hilarious, but I really do. Shrike actually was briefly building a Sport Cruiser, but he cancels it. Gonna go for AV Fab. So, choosing to go kind of the more early rush line there. Gonna get a bunch of LEVs on the Q2. Could have been making those a little bit earlier, but he just decided to do this, I guess. His opponent pretty much doing the same thing as before. We have very early Sandstormer Fab. Gonna move out with that production cruiser. Scanner comes down in an interesting location. I usually put that like over here, but if he wants to get more information, maybe like stick it there. The thing is, the position of the probe actually tells Shrike a lot about what's going on. So he sees it here, so he knows it's not going to be 2PC, right? He knows it's not going to be refiner mode first. So you're already giving a lot of information if you put it there. I would maybe have just put the probe like, or the scanner like right there or something. Now, granted, I have no idea how cognizant the players are of these little things, but I always like to imagine that we're seeing like freaking god tier Korean play or something, which sometimes we are if Sparrow's on. Carrier production upgrade comes out for Shrike here, and then it's going to be salvagers. That's actually interesting. Normally when you're doing one base AV, especially in patch, but I think it's even true in vanilla, right? Although I'd have to check again, but you can't really do carry production upgrade because you can't make AVs that fast. They just cost too much, you know what I mean? So. Oh, he did? What's his build then? Wisdom from A game. Maybe he's just going for the... Is he just going for the carry production upgrade so that he can just get LEVs out? Oh, he is, isn't he? Oh. Instagrab? What? Oh, no, I heard something too. I thought I heard like the retrieval sound, but no, it's not. Yeah, no, so is he just going for like the production line basically so he can make like double LEVs or something? Because that would be pretty weird. And if that's true, by the way, oh no, he needs to get their RUs for AV Fab. I was gonna say he should just take these two and put them on CUs first. I mean, LAV openers are fine, but I never have seen someone really do this before, where they get like AV Fab just to get the production line. Because the AVs are so good too, like you might as well make him. Well, Sandstormer's in a pretty good position here, actually, to deny second base binding. You remember Shrike had some problem there, too. Oh, it's no fun. Hello, Shin. Yeah, it is interesting. I just don't think it really works necessarily, especially because your opponent can still tech here. And if he gets 2 PC, you barely have an advantage. Well, no, I guess you still actually have a pretty big advantage, don't you? But the thing is, 2 PC is always going to move into some other kind of tech, you know what I mean? And if you're just on LAVs, you might have some real trouble holding against that. Sandskimmers get 2 pretty free kills. They're going to get these log modules too. He might want to realize that he's probably getting flanked here because he doesn't see these LAVs at all. Yeah, base trading. There is an AV out, but again, we saw what happens with these AVs in game 2, right? And yeah, base armor's 10, by the way. But yeah, I mean, we saw what can happen. These Sandstormers can pretty much just ignore it if he wants. I mean, he's got damage 1 already, so... I mean, honestly, if I were him, I would stick around and just kind of trade for some damage here. You're gonna kill probably, like, 3 of these guys or something. I mean, you're having long-distance mining kill too, but you have an artifact extraction, which you should really be powering up, by the way. So you can defend better than your opponent, despite that AAV being there. So I think Procyon actually wants to base trade here. We'll see if he does, but I think that's the move. Yeah, and he's going to do it, which is good. Although he's getting kind of carrier block there, you can see. Oh, look at that carrier block. Oh, it's nasty. Yeah, artifacts can carrier power. So that's one of the big reasons to go for, like, if you're going to do like one base aggression or something, to keep your base runner out, because you often are going to often when you go one base aggression as Gaussian, you'll have kind of a follow-up attack against you, and if you have that carrier power, it makes a big difference. Yeah, well, what I really want to see is if he upgrades these, if it's going to change the armor on this the same way as it did to Soban or not. I'm pretty sure it won't, right? But I want to know, just because, you know, that is impactful, obviously. But I'm sure you're going to patch all this out for JC3 then, huh? Is this powered up? It is, okay. I guess these LEVs are just doing a thing then. Wait, what did I say? Or did you say that? My English is like notoriously trash. Yeah, rip eco on both sides, right? But it looks like actually this is working out just better for Shrike. I think Procyon waited too long first off. So we got Power Reserve 1 out, even though it's not actually getting used, which is interesting. We have healing from the carrier and for the support cruiser, and we have the AV trading out, so even the power from Procyon here is not going to really do too much. He's making another base runner, by the way, which is curious. I mean, that's not exactly what he needs, I wouldn't say, but... And Shrike's just like, well, you know, might as well set up a turret while I'm here, and he's going to head out. Still not a sign of refinery mode from Procyon. He got it very late last game, so I'm not really expecting it early either. Probe not really recognizing the danger, so he is going to go down. And Shrike is ready to spring up onto 2 base, so he's actually going to come out very far ahead in this, I think. He's missing a salvager there, and he also needs to fill up the 3rd base salves, but he probably wants to get a bit of defense before he does that, which is fair. That's very justifiable. Let me actually increase the fade time here on the messages, because they go out pretty fast. I like to, when I'm casting, I kind of keep like a mental checklist of like what I need to talk about next. So I recognize something even though I'm not talking about it. I'm like, okay, mention this in a second. And so yeah, if the chat messages fade out too quickly, I might miss them. Just put it up to 40, we'll see how that goes. Skimmer's going to try to punish here. We do have boost, which could be used on a turret. Actually, I would set down the turret because I think you want to get that artifact out. But it's kind of too late for that now. Damage 1 is done, so that artifact is going to die real fast. So Shrike not going to get that one. But this base runner here is going to be scouting that turret rather heroically. He could probably hide in that dune, but I mean, yeah, it's just taking a lot of damage there, which isn't ever really good. You want your base runners to stay healthy as Gaussian. They don't auto heal like the rest of your units do. But Shrike has got damage 1 too, so he's actually, he's fine sitting here trading. He's gonna do okay. So, this army here from Procyon probably will die. We still don't have refinery mode, so we've got... Yeah, he did. He lost a lot of skimmers for that one. And, Shrike's LAVs are superior now. We only have 1 production line. This is probably gonna be bad for Procyon. I think he's generally, like, he's going for 1 base aggro, but he's not really bouncing back the right way, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, and I mean, we saw this in game 1 too, right? I mean, if you looked at the end... Oh yeah, you've seen it on the Discord probably. If you looked at the end of the game... Haha, beat you to it, dude. My voice is faster than your keyboard. If you looked at the end of the game, the resource differential was just ridiculous. You know, we had like 10,000 CUs more or something for Shrike or whatever. Now that's kind of indicative of the fact that you're not managing your eco properly. Unless you're like going for this kind of style like Sparrow does, then you sort of expect that, but But the difference is Sparrow wins all the time, so you know you can obviously justify it. AV's gonna come up here. They really have no clear answer on the field, but they still don't have any armor upgrades, so this is not that many Sandskivers though. Oh, I take it back. There's actually an assault ship here, and that along with the carrier, that's definitely gonna handle these guys. So these AVs are definitely gonna go down. Assault ship can be micro just right when it's about to die. Just pop back over that hill. We might not even need that though from. Yeah, look, he doesn't even need to. Smoke comes out to buy a little bit of time. Sandskim is actually getting blocked by their own carrier there. But here come the LAVs from the back line. Nice angle. Nice angle. But yeah, AVs, they're not managing to get much damage, and I think they only killed like one cell because they were focused on that assault ship, you know? And the damage on the production cruiser, I gotta say, feels a little moot, doesn't it? Like, it's not actually gonna get killed at all. I mean, there's too tight of a defense here. No, he could blunder into the turret, I guess, that's always possible. And this, by the way, is proving to be a very effective hardpoint here for Shrike. Maybe it'll go down now, but I mean, he could always have another base runner come up and put down more turrets, which is always fun, right? And we have assault cruisers on the queue. Looks like the hardpoint did go down, actually, by the way, but... Oh, a base runner. That's kind of there randomly. Uses that base runner heal there, which is going to be effective in the fight. It does affect your opponent more than it affects, or sorry, you more than it affects your opponent, but yeah, so the LEDs are going to go down here. That was a good use of base runner heal because it forced Shrike to leave, and then he didn't leave, so he died. So I like it. I like it. Dude, it's Paul Rusky. I love that guy's music. Anyway, the real reason why Shrike is still ahead in this position, first off, he does have a second base, but second, he's also got these two assault cruisers, which are going to be hugely influential if we don't see another tech choice come out, because, yeah, I mean, they're just a good counter to everything on the field here. This, by the way, bad. Definitely wants to get a support cruiser out and to get railgun fab and then get another production line. That's definitely the right way to handle the CU float. Don't ever queue up units like that, so... We could also... Oh, I was going to say he could go for some artifacts too because he's got the field control, but he does have them on the queue. But again, this queue is so long, you know what I mean? Like, you're definitely not doing yourself any favors there. Even if you don't plan on making railguns, if you've got that kind of a float, you should get the tech because then you get the production line. And expanding to 3 base off the back of that just kind of makes sense too. And here's another thing, he wants to get the production line if he's on 3 base, so he queues up his support cruiser, he will be on 3 base, but look, you're not building it, so cancel that, get the tech first, then start building that once the queue is empty, then you can, you know, handle it all. And you just save yourself a lot of time, so. More tips from Bozo Cow. You know my most important tip for this game though is don't steal Bozo Cow's colors, that's mine. You freaking... Anyway. Assault cruisers come out here, they are revealed. Actually, they were seen by that scanner too, which is kind of nice. But, what exactly is Procyon going to do about it? He doesn't have any answer on the field yet. And missile ships are not going to be it. He wants to cancel that, I think. Get that as fast as he can. Assault cruisers here just going to do their best to chew up the field. They probably want to kill this guy. Alright, that's okay. You can see, compared to vanilla, the assault cruiser does not, like, smash the assault ship quite as well as it would have, but, it still does definitely counter them, so. This guy's damage, though, coalition units, you know, they're just how they are. I'd probably use that once the timer's out, because you have field control, no one's gonna, like, pressure you. What he should really, well, you should not do this. I was gonna say, what he should really do is just drive up there, and then use the attack missile barrage, and kaboom, down goes the eco, you know what I mean? Or just know, look, you've got field control right now, like, ints are on the way, you know, you should just go up there and, you know, kabloom, take them out. LAVs, taking some losses there against the assault ship, but they are going to start killing them up. Killing them up? Can you kill something upward? Is that like a directional motion? I don't know. But the assault cruiser's just going to continue chewing up the field. Whoa! Whoa, dude! Did you see this A-game? The first veterancy bonus is actually useful for assault cruisers, because it's +3 armor, right? So, like, small arms like the carrier PD... Small arms, I mean, that doesn't fit there. The carrier PD and, like, Strikecraft and stuff like that is, like, way less effective against them, right? If they get to officer. Oh, it does, doesn't it? It doesn't say on the tooltip just quite as much as it'll do. Like, how much is it when you do overcharge? Maybe we'll see Shrike do this in just a second. That's actually really interesting. That might be like the only unit where it actually matters. Which is funny because it's also like one of the units that you never expect to really live very long. Yeah, I know, no fun. There's only one of them, right? And he still doesn't have ref mode. That's definitely like, that was definitely the theme in the last game too. He just falls behind on eco because he's not, It doubles the armor in vanilla, are you kidding me? Well, I guess it's already pretty high, so I mean, it's not like that makes too much of an effect, but still. So 25%, huh? What's 25% of... Well, it's 15, I guess. And then if your armor was 3, though, it'd be like 19, wouldn't it? You'd be getting 19 armor, which is actually pretty big. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we have another tech choice from Shrike. Gonna be moving from assaults to artillery, the classic combo. These guys just gonna heal off in the fog of war. You know, no reason to risk it, which I like. He's still easily in control of this match here. And we do have some interceptors on the field though, but these LFEs are just gonna kill us. So that's a little unfortunate too, I think. Oh no, it's gonna get out. Oh, you got a dock, boy, boy. Down he goes. What's one rate of fire? I wonder what that does. Rate of fire is always a slightly hard concept to understand for skimmers, you know. Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, probably it's effective against, like, it's a big deal against armor, right? Like, assault ships, yeah. Because, until it, like, doubles, the assault ships, like, they won't... How do I say? They can do damage to it, right? When it just has its base armor, but when it, like... When the armor is freaking double, you know, you're not going to do anything to it, so... Well, it must be if you're going to have these just only increase it by 1 and still be useful, right? Tell me, Armor 2 and Armor 3 on the AV still increases the health, right? But just not as much. By the way, Shrike really wants to be active with this guy. Get him healing up. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right, Pi. I mean, like, railguns, not only do they decrease armor, but they kind of ignore it mostly because it's, like, a pretty minuscule, you know, difference to the amount of damage that they do. Which means that it's actually Armor 2 and Armor 3 that really influence a railgun fight. I feel like having Armor 1 doesn't really make that much of a difference for you, right? But, yeah, against, like, LAVs and AVs and stuff, which is where most of the damage comes from in DOK against a lot of units, right? It's definitely going to be, like, massive to have even one more point of armor than you did before. Or now he heals him, now that he could be used. That's funny. This ability is still not free, but it is in the, plus 3 armor every upgrade and no health. Oh, wow. So railgun armor almost didn't matter for, like, railgun fights, did it? It was just... Yeah, look at that. There are 2 PCs. Anyway, it was just effective, like, for defending against Strikecraft, or what? That's interesting. Anyway, this ability is free now in patch, right? For JC3. Artillery gonna reveal itself there. I actually would have turned off the auto targeting, but I'm kind of a tryhard, so. But you know, you don't reveal that. You don't reveal the what do you call it? You don't reveal that you have like artillery until it actually gets to the field, so your opponent has like less time to counter it. But. And by the way, he saw air, didn't he? But he doesn't have any insurance against it with this army here, which is kind of... No, he does! Haha! Nice. I was about to say, if he just got, like, assault cruiser anti-air, then he'd be really covered against, like, air, and he has it, which is cool. Haha. It's just, I'm always such a fanboy of these assault cruiser techs, even though they usually don't get used and stuff. Shrike really wants to boost out of this one. I'm hitting R, you can't tell, but he needs to get out of there. But yeah, this eco is pretty much going to get trashed, right? He can't stay here anymore. But I mean, to be fair, he can't stay anywhere. Like, these assault ships, or assault cruisers are just going to slowly push him further and further away. Have to give up the main, have to give up the second, have to give... Okay, now he's bringing around the Rosie, you know what I mean? Which means for Shrike, we probably want to see rails sending battle cruisers as well. Ah, that could work. That could work. He'll have enough time, yeah. He'll be able to produce, like, 2 of them, just have them sitting over there. Deny the ring around the Rosie. This carrier actually just getting turbo aggressive though, so I think it's gonna go down. Sand skimmers are like, so, shall we? But they're thinking about it, you know. But it's not gonna make a difference. That carrier is gonna be dead. Isn't it? Yeah, I know it's gotta be. And that will be a 2-0 for no fun. I mean, for Shrike. Sorry. For Shrike. No fun wishes he got a 2-0 that easily. What a pleb, right? Alright, GG's.